Good afternoon, evening, everybody on Friday. What is today, the 12th? I don't know. I don't know what exact date it is. But I hope everybody's doing well. It's really nice out right now. It's quiet. There's not a cloud in the sky. My guineas are behaving. The chickens are behaving. My cat is roaming around, who should be in the house, in her house. But I was in the creek just now throwing some stone onto my retaining wall. And then one of my neighbors, who I haven't seen in a while, was driving by, stopped. And then he got out of the car and called over to me. He said, "Do you know there's a rattlesnake here?" I said, "No, I didn't know." So, I walk up there, and evidently he ran over it. He ran over its head, and the tail was crushed, like the rattle was gone. And so we just stood like looking at it. He told me it's actually more deadly or poisonous than the copperhead. I've never seen one of these rattlesnakes since I'm living here. I've only seen the copperheads and the black snakes. And I don't think my guineas have seen them, because they will go after things that crawl like that. Like, guineas can actually eat some snakes, and they can be really nasty when they want to be. Like, they look really cute now. Like, look how cute they are. But they can be nasty. They can be nasty. Like, they have beaten up my rooster. They beat up one of my roosters. Yeah, those birds. They can be very nasty. They've bitten me. Like if I'm near like one of their mates, and I don't realize like they're sitting on eggs or whatever, it'll just come over and nip at my ankles or something like that. They'll actually circle people that they don't know. Like if they feel threatened. They used to do this with the UPS driver and the Federal Express. They would just cackle like loudly as soon as somebody drove down the driveway. That's kind of changed a little bit. But anyway, there was a dead rattlesnake, and I'm pretty certain it's because of the disruption to the creek across the way from where I maintain. Because unfortunately, that area there does not belong to me. It's not part of my property. It belongs to my neighbor. And I have not seen my neighbor care for that little portion there, like weed eating or anything like that. I guess within the last 2 weeks, weed eated where all that concrete is. Because I'll say that I had weeds about 2 feet high there. I don't know how they would have poured all that concrete over the amount of weeds that were there. Plant life, weeds and stuff. But I cut it about 2 weeks ago, so you can see that there's like really nothing there. Because I do maintain that portion of the creek, even though the county doesn't. I mean, I want it to look nice. Of course, I don't want a lot of growth there. I don't want snakes and bugs and rodents or anything like that growing there. So that's why I like to keep the grass low. I want to be able to see whatever's crawling around. So there was a rattlesnake there. I've never seen one since I'm living here. I have a photo of it that I'll use as the thumbnail of this video, just so that you could see what it looks like. It's actually very pretty. It has beautiful, what do you call them? The skin of it. It's very pretty. I guess that's why maybe some people use them to make leather items. I mean, I can't see doing that. I can't see torturing an animal for that. They all have a right to live, but I prefer that they live somewhere else. But what happened was the guys went pretty far deep down there. They had to remove a lot of like trees that were growing there, like push it aside in order to grow this. So they probably disrupted the living quarters of that snake at least, and maybe even others. So we're going to have to be careful. And the workers, when they come back on Monday, are going to have to be very careful there, because they have disrupted the environment of where these animals live. Frogs and fish and, all kinds of other critters that live around here. But thank you all for your comments about my last videos. I apologize for the rants. I know, you guys want to hear some really good stuff. But this is what's happening to targeted people, and this is you need. I apologize, but I want to educate you also, not only for documentation purposes for what's happening with me here, but this is what happens when you own land, and this is why people have gotten on my case in the past. Targeted people are harassed and targeted differently when they own land in a house rather than rent. It's completely different. Maybe some of the tactics are the same, the noise is the same, the trespassing, the thefts, the break-ins, all that stuff is the same. But the level of asset stripping is off the charts because when you own land, you're paying property taxes. You have to maintain your property. Like, I have to maintain this. I mean, I've told you, I think last year I spent close to $6,000 paying people to clean out all these buildings that were left behind by the former owner. And then, of course, the person that sold the property to me did zero, including cutting the grass here, zero. And then last year I also spent even close to that to maintain the property with the grass, the weed eating, some other things, like some trees had fallen down that I needed to cut. Yeah, I have a chainsaw, but come on. I mean, I do not feel comfortable using a chainsaw. I'm sorry. If I don't feel comfortable using it, I'm not going to use it. So, when trees fall down, I do have a handsaw, and I have cut up trees with my handsaw. And yes, it has taken me a long time, but I don't like those movable devices like that. I'd rather rely on a handsaw, which of course we're all going to have to do in the future anyway. Listening to all the prepping channels, and one in particular, his name is Bear Independent, and he actually has a nonprofit called Caleb House where they rehabilitate children who were, trafficked or have come into those horrible situations and stuff. So he's actually building or attempting to build a building to house these people and, collecting donations for that. But anyway, he has a YouTube channel, is very successful, and he was talking about what's going to happen in the future. And he because he's been involved with electricity, the grid and stuff like that. He said he doesn't say the grid may go down. The grid's going to go down in the future. He says the grid is going down. It's too fragile. The powers that be will force it to go down if it's not targeted by outside sources and stuff. And he said to be prepared that the grid is going down. They will be more than happy to bring us back to the 1800s. So I'm happy to learn how to use hand tools, and I can rely on my hand tools. Of course, it takes me forever. I pretty much installed all of the shelves in my house with a screwdriver. Yes, not a power screwdriver. I tried that. It didn't really work for me, but with a regular hand screwdriver, I kid you not, I installed all the shelves in my house with a screwdriver. It took me forever. And I'm sure the criminals that watch me 24/7 were like laughing behind the scenes, thinking, "Oh, look at that! Look at how pathetic that is! Look at how long it's taking her to put up a damn shelf. Just use like a power tool, right? You want to go in the house? You know you're out late. You should not be out late. No, you ran out. Yeah, come on, let's go in the house. Let's go. Just stop looking all cute like that. I'm not gonna keep begging you to come in the house. Let's go." But so what I'm saying to you guys is to be prepared. Be prepared with extra food, extra batteries. Of course, I had a whole bunch of extra batteries and a new battery case that were stolen from my house. They stole about $200 worth between the case, the battery chargers, the rechargeable batteries, the brand new batteries, like all different level batteries. They stole it. Yeah, so Sheriff Isaacs, that'll be on the list when I compile this letter, this certified letter that I will be sending to you. Now that I have so much more stuff to add to it, I'll just hold off and just add them all together. So anyway, so he says the grid is going down. So if you can get like a little hand turn radio, some solar lights that could be either that you could be bring inside and outside, and that's what I do sometimes. Like I have solar lights that I keep in front of my windows, and then at night I bring them into my bedroom, flip them on. Uh, and then I've purchased those little Christmas lights, the little clear string Christmas lights. They don't take up a lot of power. They give you enough light. And that's very inexpensive. I don't know. You can buy like a string for like $8.99 or $10.99 or whatever, and buy a little generator. You can buy. There was one that I got from Patriot. I guess they're called Patriot something, and they have these little compact solar cell phone chargers. So you can put them in the sun, and they'll charge your phone. And sometimes I'll just carry it with me if I'm going into town and I know that my battery's going to be drained by the criminals. I'll just have it attached to my phone, so it's constantly, recharging it. Plus, you can recharge it manually. You can plug it in. But it's a good idea to have something to recharge your phone. Be able to plug in a light or two. Get some solar lights. Food that doesn't have to be cooked. Some cans. I really like to buy not freeze dried. What do you call it? The dried fruits. Raisins, pears. Dried fruits and stuff like that. Canned things, beverages, coconut water. Right, guys? And a way to clean yourself. So you can buy disposable wipes that are really good to wash your face and your body and stuff like that. And I know when I moved here, and just for people who don't know, when I moved here, I didn't live right here. I moved here in May, the end of May, around Memorial Day. And I was living at the top of the hill. I have to take you guys up there and show you where I lived in my car for 6 weeks in the pouring rain. Yeah, it rained almost every day up there. And I had 2 pods up there, including the huge garage. The huge garage had stored all my stuff that I moved here. But I was literally living in my car. The back of my car, which was the trunk, I had my clothes on one side, food on another side, cleaning items and toiletries on another side. And then I had one cat that wouldn't sleep with all the other cats, and he slept in my car every night. And I slept in the back seat of my car for 6 weeks, yeah. And I was targeted. I became targeted probably the last couple of weeks there. I woke up with a needle mark in my right arm. Yeah. So somebody had entered my car and did something to me. Yep, right there, right when I was in my car, in a locked car. So they have the ability to get in and out of your vehicle. And actually, in New Jersey, I discussed this with the car dealer, and he said that your car key fobs will never prevent somebody else from getting in to your car. That it's basically an impossibility. That he said anybody can get into your car with a key fob. With your key fob, they can replicate key fobs. They can get another key fob. So I was shocked. I mean, I just was under the assumption that if you locked your car with a key fob, it was locked. But no, the car dealer back in New Jersey said that anybody can get into anybody's car. And this is what happens to a lot of targeted people, a lot of regular people. So anyway, I'm going to do another couple of videos on personality. I'm going to review the ENFJ and the INSJ. I think that's it. And this is my error. I thought the ENFJ comprised a large portion of the general population, and that is what I learned like years ago. I'm going to say like 20 years ago because I'm that old. But that's not true. The ENFJ comprises, I think I read 4 to 5% of the population. So it's still a low percentage. And I'll go more into that. That's the counterpart of the INFJ is the ENFJ, the E being extrovert, the I being introvert. So when people think that with introvert, that the person is introverted, it means that the processing, their processing, and the level of solitude is introverted. It doesn't mean that like they sit in solitude and don't socialize with people. I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth. But what happens with an INFJ is they'll go out in public and socialize and stuff, and then they get drained by people. When they're around like too many people or like bad negative energy, they get drained. You know, sometimes they get energized by certain people and then they get drained. And I know that like when I was younger, I'd go out dancing with my friends and I'd stay late. I'd dance all night long. And I would feel totally energized, even if it was with dancing with people that I didn't know. But then by the time I got home and stuff, I was tired. I didn't want to deal with anybody. So that's the way it worked with me. But anyway, girl, you want to go in the house? No, she's walking around now. Look at her. But anyway, so I will be doing another video on the two other personalities. I also want to discuss another method that I have been experiencing targeting, and it's been through eBay. And I will discuss the eBay lawsuit that happened a few years back with the Massachusetts couple who won the lawsuit against them and had an FBI agent testify on their behalf. It was a miracle. And but I want to review what's happening to me with eBay, and it's been going on since New Jersey, but it also followed me here in Kentucky, and what they've done with my nonprofit accounts. So I'm going to do a video on eBay. I'm going to have to clear up some space on my phone to do that. I'm having trouble on my laptop, even though like I've deleted stuff, I've transferred stuff. I think that there is some hidden software on my laptop and my phone that's eating up some data. Like the criminals have gotten into this phone and my other phone. So, but thank you all for listening to my rants. But I want you to see what happens when you own property and land. And maybe what's happening to me is maybe a little bit off the charts, although some people have told me privately that they've dealt with the same thing. And I spoke to a targeted female, called me today. I haven't spoken to her in months. She owns land, or she's renting land, and a lot of the same stuff is happening to her there that's happening to me here. So over there, this is like Little Black Cat. Little Black Cat was dumped here about a year ago. Really sweet little cat. It arrived here as like a very young, like a kitten-like cat. It's a male, completely passive. Just hangs out. Really sweet little cat. I haven't been able to touch him or pet him or anything, but he's like a little tiny little black cat. So yeah, I've had so many cats dumped here. Between him, Lucifer, the Zoom cat, Popcorn, Cheeks, Ponytail, who was shot by my neighbor. And then there were more cats that I never named. There was an orange cat, like this one, that was dumped here, and it just disappeared. Popcorn didn't like it, and Popcorn would chase it off, but it hasn't been back. It would sneak up and eat at night, and I haven't seen it. And then there was a beautiful black and white cat that I videotaped. I have it on my channel like from about a year ago, and it disappeared. It looked like a house cat, and I was going to bring it in. You know, I have to be careful about my other cats and stuff and people dumping animals here, and I think that it met its fate with a wild animal because at the time my landscaper found a skull up there that was probably a cat. But anyway, on that lovely note, this is what happens when you live on the edge of a national forest and you've got animals running around. You've got to keep your animals close to you because there are wild animals around here. I have Fox that comes out every night. He does like a little dance around the property here. And then I think there are 2 of them. And then I've got this little fat groundhog. I don't know where he is. And then a whole bunch of raccoons. I don't know. I think the possums disappeared. Thank goodness. I just don't like possums. They're just ugly. And that's my rant for now. I've got to close up my chickens because they're having a hissy fit over there. That means that the roosters are ornery. They're very ornery. And they harass like a lot of the birds because they're not only ornery, they're horny. And this and at the end of the day, all they want to do is they want to get my girlies, and my girlies they just want to go back to the roost and everything. So that's my little discussion for now. I mean, I'll upload this. Please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow. Leave your comments down below. If you have any experiences with eBay as a targeted person, whether purchasing or if you're an eBay seller, let me know in the comments if you're an eBay seller, because I would like to speak to you even privately. There are a lot of changes going on in eBay, and it's affecting everyone. But as a targeted person, I have a story to tell you about eBay. And there are another group that I have to send a letter to. Just have to be in the mood. I mean, I just want to live my life and not have to file complaints all the time. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But this needs to be stated, and I'm going to have to contact eBay's attorney and write them a certified letter for what's going on behind the scenes with one or two or whatever technology person that has sabotaged my selling account for my nonprofit, and is lying about it. But anyway, we'll save that for another day. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, signing off on this Friday night. Oh, and I'll upload the photo of the rattlesnake